I've been deep in these documents, each of which is a piece of evidence.
My
that
man
helps me
loves
piece
documents,
together
dude.
A very important question, which is
Let's
who
go.
got rich off
No,
this
we'll do Wendover too.
20-year
Hold on.
war that we fought in Afghanistan. But first, let me tell you what happened on August 15th, 2021. The Taliban had entered Kabul after taking over the entire country of Afghanistan. The war ended as it had begun, with the Taliban in power once again. You probably remember the scenes from the Kabul airport. Total chaos as Afghans tried to flee their country. But there's one guy who saw a business opportunity in all of this. This guy, Eric Prince, generously offered to help charter a plane to evacuate people from Kabul. The price tag, $6,500 per person. That was the market price that Eric Prince decided. But this wasn't the first time Eric Prince used the war in Afghanistan to get rich. In fact, this was one of the last of many instances where this guy profited off the Afghan war. And some of the ways he did it were kind of messed up. So after digging through the numbers, the reports, the Senate hearings, all of it, we've established a list of some of the top people who got crazy, stupid, rich off of the war in Afghanistan.
On my orders, the United States military has begun strikes against Al-Qaeda terrorist training camps and military installations of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan.
Before we get into our list, I want to talk about an important term here, which is government contractor.
$300 million in government contracts.
U.S. defense contractor. Our broken system of government contracting.
At U.S. federal contractor registration, we know that a government contract is worth more than the dollars awarded.
Here in the United States, we love the free market.
I'm talking about this.
So instead of having the clunky old federal government take care of all things war, we hire a lot of private companies to do it for us. This is companies that make our weapons, feed our soldiers, build our bases, fuel our tanks, and literally fight our wars. Yes, we have private armies that we call security companies that basically are soldiers for hire. What this allows the government to do is post a job out there, like, we need someone to build a road in Afghanistan. And in theory, what happens is a bunch of private companies come together and they all bid on how much it would cost to build this road. And whatever company gives the best price is chosen to go build that.
Someone in the chat said the CIA let him loose on this one. Bro, the thing is, this is why he's not CIA, he's just a liberal, okay? Because it's very, very liberal to just be like, oh, by the way, like, I totally recognize when America does imperialism 20 years after the fact, but like when imperialism is happening, and we have involvement, then we can't talk about that. Okay, that's the whole point.
That road. It's supposed to help the government get the best price. Okay, so where am I going with this? What I want you to understand is that there is this bidding process for private companies to go do things that the government needs. But in wartime, a lot of those processes of bidding go out the window because we're in wartime. So it's like an emergency. So instead, you get a lot of situations where there is no bidding on contracts. The government needs something done in Afghanistan really quickly. This company could do it. Name your price, we'll give you whatever you need.
As a client, the U.S. government is...
The best movie about this is War Dogs. And they literally cover the no big contract.
guaranteed to have the funds to pay you and will always pay you.
And it's that very process that allowed people to take advantage of a system to let billions and billions of unaccounted for dollars be poured into private companies. All of this contributed to what a former Secretary of Defense called a culture of endless money inside the Pentagon. Okay, wait, before we go on, I need to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is BetterHelp. I've said this a bunch, I'm gonna keep saying it, which is that I'm a giant supporter of therapy. I think therapy is something that is stigmatized and Specifically for me, maybe it's because I was a guy or something, I don't know, but I never got messaging that I was supposed to go to therapy. But I've been going to therapy for 2.5 years now, and it has truly changed my life. BetterHelp is a service that tries to make therapy more accessible. By
BetterHelp, therapy.
factors, let's get to this list of people who got rich. First up is Robert Stevens, the former CEO of a company called Lockheed Martin. It's a company that manufactures like this helicopter, the Black Hawk. They manufacture missiles, fighter jets, bombs. They manufacture a lot of stuff that we use in war. This company gets a lot of business from the Pentagon. Like in 2020 alone, this company got $75 billion worth of Pentagon contracts. I know that like when we get into billions, it's really hard to like know what that actually means. But just to put it in perspective, the entire budget of our foreign ministry, the State Department, totaled $44 billion. For the entire State Department, all of our diplomacy, $44 billion. And Lockheed Martin alone, this one company, got almost double that to make our weapons. 90% of Lockheed's revenue comes from the federal government. Their core business, the thing that keeps them afloat, is war and security. So Robert Stevens became the CEO in 2004. This was 3 years into the war in Afghanistan. And as the war intensified, so did Robert's wallet. And I know this because this is a public company, and all of the compensation for executives is public knowledge to all of us. You may have to dig through some boring documents like the Lockheed Martin proxy statements from the 2000 annual meeting of stockholders on April 27th, 2000, but you can find it. So let's see how Robert and his war business did in the 2000s. So before the war, in the late 90s, the CEO of Lockheed Martin was making...
How will stakeholder capitalism fix this, I wonder? I mean, this is a good video. Johnny is at peak physical condition when he does videos like this.
I am now a lib. Hassan, why
Straight
did you
up.
do this to me?
Love it.
I trusted you with all my heart. The world will hate me now.
But how will his approach to capitalism fix this problem, for example?
Around $2 million a year, if you include his salary and bonus. $2 million bucks. It's a pretty good compensation. Okay, but then the war started. Lockheed started to get a ton of contracts, started making more weapons, and look what happens to the CEO's compensation. His salary stays about the same, just over $1 million bucks, but his bonus now jumps up to $3.2 million. Bringing his total
he's being compensated for doing a good job.
$5 million. This guy's making $5 million bucks. War's doing pretty good for him. Not bad. Let's jump 1 year later. It's now 2006. And Robert Stevens, the CEO of Lockheed Martin, brought in $18 million. Wait, what?
Bro, now he's making XQC numbers, bro.
From 2 million to 5 million to 18 million. Whoa, Robert Stevens is doing pretty darn good. Okay, but let's keep going. The year after that, Robert Stevens brings in $30 million in his compensation. 31 million. $31 million. Non-equity incentive plan compensation, $8 million. Holy smokes. What? $30 million in compensation? I mean, if we were to like graph that, the war starts here. We're looking at something like this, this, and this. The war was a life-changing event for Robert Stevens, the CEO of Lockheed Martin. Okay, so that's our first guy.
Among millions of people as well. Major bag alert for Robert, but like also a lot of other people.
Got super rich. Let's move on to the next one. A guy named Stephen Orenstein. This guy's company, called Supreme Group, was chosen in 2005 to feed US troops in Afghanistan, to provide all the food. I mean, when this guy got the contract, I'm sure the only thing that happened is that his eyes started flashing with money. Since he got the contract, Supreme Food's business increased 50-fold. Over the course of 6 years, the Defense Department paid Supreme $5.5 billion to deliver food to the troops. $5.5 billion.
Major bag alert.
90% of his business, 90% of his company was providing food to
By the way, the most dog shit food imaginable.
troops in Afghanistan. I mean, talk about winning the lottery. But remember what I said about emergency funding and contractors? Orenstein realized that he could charge absurd amounts of money for the meals that he was providing to troops. And he knew that no one would notice because they were just throwing money at this war. The government contracts just kept coming no matter how pricey his meals were.
There's our beef ravioli.
Orenstein was like, dude, there's no adults in the room. Like, I'm a child in a candy shop right now. Let's see how far I can take
Funsies
this.
8 months.
Not only was
Major
he
bag
charging
alert!
insane prices for meals,
Sorry.
but then he started to create fake subcontracting companies and started to win contracts that were for nothing. And the Pentagon would just pay him a ton of money for doing no work. And what did he do? He just pocketed the cash. He got super, super rich off of this, to the point where he became a billionaire. He got put on the billionaire list or whatever. But eventually he took it way too far and he got caught. And yes, we are now reading a Senate hearing from 2013 called Contracting to Feed U.S. Troops in Afghanistan. How did the U.S. Defense Department end up in a multi-billion-dollar billing dispute? I don't recommend you watch this hearing. It's very boring.
DLA had paid Supreme about $3 billion, including $1.6 billion for food and water and $1.4 billion for transportation and storage costs.
The numbers being thrown around in this hearing are insane. The Pentagon overpaid nearly $100 million just in like transportation costs, which, as one congressperson said, that is an astounding amount of money. And then to put it in perspective, she says that that amount would pay for nearly 100,000 children to have access to a Head Start program, which is an early education program in the US. But instead, this taxpayer money went into Orenstein's pocket. Nice one, Stephen. Think of the children. Come on. So what does it look like when someone gets punished for this? Well, here we are in this Senate hearing where the people who gave all of this money without checking where it was going are being questioned. And when they asked what happened, they say things like this.
The contract management efforts that we applied to this did not keep pace with the changes that we were seeing in our requirements.
Let me translate that for you. What he was really saying is, we weren't really paying attention because, war. According to this court document, Stephen eventually did have to pay up $389 million. But let's be honest, he got a little slap on the wrist.
15 months.
Just $389 million? Let's go! Pocket the rest of that shit. Are you kidding me? Couple mil to the lawyers? You're out, dude. Oh, that's a devious lick, dude. Oh my Lord. Imagine we talk about welfare queens and like poor people getting fucking like a crumb of money from the American government. Meanwhile, they're doing this shit, okay? Yeah, no, keep yelling at each other, dumbasses.
But the guy got rich off the Afghan war, which is why he's on this list. Next up is this guy, Eric Prince. This is the guy we talked about at the beginning who was like charging $6,000 to fly people out of Afghanistan.
I don't think any human being who has a heart and soul would support efforts to profit off of people's agony and pain as they're trying to depart a country and fearing.
Blackwater, baby!
He's an ex-Navy SEAL who inherited a bunch of money and decided to start his own private security company called Blackwater. Remember what I said, private security company really means soldiers for hire. This guy trained military and police forces. In fact, he describes his mission for Blackwater as, quote, trying to do for the national security.
Can't believe he's dead naming Blackwater, brother. It's called Academy, okay? They did war crimes, and actually they're better off now. They changed. Sorry, then did they change it again, actually? But I don't know what their last name is, okay? Reformed.
Apparatus, what FedEx did for the Postal Service. Privatize, make more efficient, get rid of red tape, etc., etc. Kind of a scary thought, but okay. He got his first contract in 2000. It was a small contract, $204,000, to help train the Navy for terrorist attacks. Then 9/11 happened. An absolute tragedy for the American people, but an incredible business opportunity for Eric Prince and his
Bag alert!
FedEx for the Army, the US was desperate to mobilize their troops for this new kind of warfare. So they turned to Blackwater to help them. The US hired Blackwater to come protect their CIA compounds or to escort VIP diplomats. But wait, let's just get something clear. What are these guys? Are they troops or like military?
Are they even human? No. The answer is no, they are not. None of those things, okay? They are not human.
Technically, no,
They're
they're
subhuman.
not, but they sure look like troops. I mean, look at these guys. But really, these guys are just like fancy security guards that the government hires and gives them security clearances and sends them to war zones so that they can operate like soldiers under the jurisdiction of a private company. But they're just security guards, so...
Yeah, so they would never do war crimes, for example. They would never do literally fucking war crimes, especially considering that they're like pretty much unaccountable. That would never happen, and it certainly never did, of course.
They're not like mercenaries or anything, right? By 2007, the government had given Blackwater over $1 billion in federal contracts. Let me repeat, this little company that provides a private security force went from meager contracts of $200,000 to help train troops to sending troops abroad to actually be in the war zone and getting $1 billion worth of taxpayer money within just a few years. As you can imagine, giving guns and security clearances to a private army might lead to some thorny abuses of power. And in fact, in
By the way, they should have just literally... This video could also be titled, Why You Will Never Have Healthcare, Dumbass. Like, why insulin costs 10 times more than over the other side of the fucking Canadian border. Yeah. And then, for the record, the American government pulls this shit, demonstrating that they do not care about their citizens, and then you dumbasses turn around and you're like, but they care about the fucking safety and security of Ukrainians. Oh my god, dude.
Keep doing it, dead hassle.
You have to be the biggest dumbass on the fucking planet if you think that this country is not the worst country on the planet. Like, you should have to be a dumbass or, sorry, a nuanced liberal. A nuanced liberal from Europe, a Euro lib, which has a lot of nuance, a lot of room for nuance for it. That's why I recognize that the American hegemonic imperialist superpower that does shit like this, of course, ultimately for the betterment of society. Man, I'm just so stupid. Your nebulosity is showing exactly. Oh man, I'm just a dumb dude. I know dumb American Bernie, bro. Don't understand it.
2007, the guards of Blackwater were in Iraq, in addition to Afghanistan.
Anyway, war crimes
and they opened
incoming.
Fire on unarmed civilians.
Indiscriminate shootings by Blackwater guards leading to the deaths of civilians.
In a crowded public square, after a car bomb had exploded a mile away, they killed 17 Iraqis and injured 20 more. Blackwater lost.
Wait, what? You think the U.S. is the worst country ever? The United States is responsible for more death, destruction, bloodshed, violence than any other country currently on the planet. That is just a undeniable, factually accurate statement. Okay? You might say other countries, okay? Might say that other countries simply do not have the power that the United States currently has. And if they did actually have that power, they would be worse. And I will say to that, maybe. I can concede to that. Except we don't fucking know. Because they don't. Because America is the dominant power. But don't ever come to me and be like, actually, the America, you know. I'm talking about contemporary, post-World War II. Shut up. What about Germany of 1940? Fucking shut up. We're talking contemporary society, okay? Post-World War II.
lost their contracts. It was a huge scandal, and it was another instance where there was some accountability. And yet, Eric Prince sold the company and came out on top. Another guy who got really
always, baby. Always
rich off the Afghan war. Oh, and those security guards who opened fire on innocent civilians were tried and convicted. But then, wait for it, they were completely pardoned by Donald Trump. Do we have any faith in humanity? Next up, we've got...
Oh, come on. Don't glance over it. Dude. Peaceful war dove United States, right? I mean, Donald Trump, right? He literally fucking exonerated those dudes, pardoned the dudes who did the war crimes under the Blackwater umbrella at the behest of Eric Prince, who was also related to Betsy DeVos, the education secretary. Clearing the swamp, though, baby. Oh, that's right. Oh, Trump really fucking, he cleaned it up so good. Ooh. Swamp clean, dude. No corruption. Fuck. And for the record, do not misunderstand me. Democrats are just as fucking psychotic, okay? Don't even for a moment be like, oh, dude, what about Trump is so corrupt, so historically corrupt. No, motherfucker, Democrats are just as corrupt. Fuck you mean? They 100%. That's why it's always funny when people talk about like, what's his name? Paul Manafort, right? People are like, oh, Paul Manafort, he's so corrupt. He was working with fucking dictators. And it's like, okay, who was his fucking partner in crime? Podesta, motherfucker. What do you mean? That's who do you think that guy is? Who do you think he is working with? Everyone is fucking, everyone should be held to the same standard.
Got these two guys. They're nicknamed the War Dogs. There's a movie about them that I haven't seen, but I want to.
It's a really good movie.
Excuse me. Kind of an emergency. Sorry. Don't worry, I have to go first. I'm American.
But really, the best thing out there is this Rolling Stone article. These guys were ages 25 and 21 when they started an ammunition company. They bid the Pentagon and won $300 million worth of taxpayer money in contracts. And they were going to supply the Afghan National Army with guns and ammunition. I mean, this is insane. These were like early 20-year-old kids. One of these guys, David, was just a few months earlier a massage therapist, and then was like, I'm going to have a little change of career. I'm going to go sell $300 million worth of guns and ammunition to the federal government so they can fight a war in Afghanistan. These guys got super rich off of this, and soon were living a fancy life with really nice cars and expensive apartments in like Miami. But what they were doing here was buying ammo from China and then selling that to the US government.
Bag
which is
alert!
Like a giant no-no in arms trading. They eventually got caught, pleaded guilty, and one of them was sentenced to jail for 4 years. So this is a rare case of like, guys got rich and then they got caught and they actually...
For the record, the only reason why is because, they weren't as well established as the other... As the other motherfuckers, like
green.
Like they didn't have enough, you know what I mean? And also, even then he went for the jail for 4 years. Dude, it's so funny. Our criminal justice system positively is European when it comes to like wealthy people. Okay? It's the most European aspect of the American criminal justice system. The moment that like a rich person has to, see justice, it's like, oh, dude, we'll kiss you for 4 years of kisses on the cheek. Yeah.
Actually got...
I mean, it's fucking dope. Yeah, they were drop shipping munitions, which you have to respect. Like, obviously, I hate the war and all of that, but like, these motherfuckers were duping the American government by Alibaba Express bullets. With Alibaba Express bullets, dude. It's crazy. Defense contractors generated 7.35 trillion since 9/11. Fuck yeah, dude. Oh, it makes my dick so hard, dude. Holy shit. That's fucking awesome. America. I'm sorry. Want fucking healthcare? Fuck you. I'm on my grind set, bitch.
Punished, which didn't happen to Supreme Food or Eric Prince. The difference is like when you're like a 24-year-old kid, you don't have a lot of money and influence, so you can't like weasel your way out of accountability.
Aww.
But what this story shows you is just how easy it was to get in on this culture of endless money within the Pentagon. The massage therapist who had never owned a gun before started an ammunition and gun company and got $300 million for it. Just like a gold rush. Okay, so those are the war dogs. Next up, we have this guy, Fahim Hashimi, one of the several Afghan nationals who got super rich.
Bro, this is literally the Dostum mansion, I think. He's standing in front of the Dostum mansion.
Part of this group called the 9/11 millionaires. In the early days,
You're actually slow, ban me. We know you don't. Go doc. He says, both, it is imposturing. America bad, we get it. I'm so slow, but this motherfucker's on a delayed release, dude. Love that. Following since July 8th, 2019. Previously subbed for 3 months. I wonder what community this guy is fucking, I wonder what community this guy's from. Man. Last time he was here was like early 2020. Wonder what happened. Wonder what happened to him. I will not be banning this person, by the way. Based. Later chat. No, you're too pathetic and irrelevant to even ban.
Days of the Afghan war, there was huge need for local fixers and translators. The people who got in early helping out US forces got really savvy to how the US was operating. And they quickly realized that they could provide a bunch more local services and make a ton of money. So Fahim started a business that eventually turned into like a media corporation with like TV stations and a construction company and even an airline. His company started racking in like $200 million a year in government contracts. There were a bunch of Afghans who got super rich riding on the coattails of all of this money being poured into the country, which it's like, good for them. Their country's been torn apart by outside superpowers for decades. Let them at least get something out of it, for heaven's sake. Next up, we have our very own Congress. Nancy Pelosi and Ted Cruz aren't like arms dealers.
Trigger warning.
They can still get
oh no, I'm sorry.
Everything is gone.
God! Because if you're a member of Congress, you can buy stocks in defense companies like Lockheed Martin, and a lot of them do. At least 47 members of Congress and their spouses hold between $2 million and $6.7 million worth of stocks in top defense companies.
Individually? Or wait, no, not every single one of them. Totaling 2 million, right? All together, like collectively. No fucking shot do they all have individually $2 million in stocks.
Of the 36 House members who hold stock in military contracts, 20 are Republican and 16 are Democrats. It's almost split in half.
Oh, I love that, actually. I love that. Because that basically shows exactly just the disparity, or rather, the bipartisan support for never-ending war, baby. Let's go. Oh, man, that's sick. Best country in the planet, by the way. This is not bad. America, not bad, okay? Other countries, also bad, so shut the fuck up, guys. Not a good idea to say America bad. Just don't have nuanced perspectives like that. Remember, U.S. bad isn't a political philosophy.
I mean, let's get into the details here. Like, which of the congressmen have the most money invested in defense companies? Good question. The winner for this year of Who's Getting Rich Off War is Kevin Hern, a Republican from Oklahoma, who who owns over $1 million in stock from defense contractors. $880,000 alone in Honeywell, which is an aerospace contractor that Congress really seems to love. And notice how well their stock has done, especially since 2009, when Obama sent a bunch of new troops to Afghanistan. I mean, this is a lawmaker who has to give approval when we go to war, and he stands to gain if we do. But wait, the conflict of interest gets worse when you look at somebody like Senator Gary Peters, a Democratic senator from Michigan, who is a member of the Armed Services Committee, which is the committee that authorizes the Pentagon's budget. Here's his financial disclosure. He's invested in a lot of things, including Raytheon Technology Corporation. Raytheon is a major government contractor for
Bag alert.
wartime things.
Also 15K, broke boy. He's on the Armed Services Committee, and all you can fucking muster up was 15K. Imagine being poor, dude. Can you imagine being a fucking senator and being such a broke bitch, dude? Oh my God, it smells like broke in here. Holy shit. Oh, fuck. God damn, dude. My man can't even say cha-ching every time he's fucking, making decisions. Ugh. Disgusting. You literally donated more to Ukraine just on Eldon deaths? Yeah, I mean, fuck, dude. Fuck. That's a lot of money for OK. He's from Michigan, not Oklahoma.
This guy gives money to the Pentagon to do war things with private contractors, and he is invested in the...
That's why, like, same argument extends to fucking Brandon, right? Where I criticize him before. Like, he does it because he has love for the game. Like, he looks at this system and he says, like, this is a sick system. Like, I love this system. And I will go broke advocating for the system. And even as vice president, like, I will not be able to pay for my son's medical treatment. Like, I'll put a second mortgage on the house to pay for my son's cancer treatment until, Obama comes in and is like, dude, you're fucking insane. Like, I'll pay for this shit. Whereas, like, Brandon, literally, he just, like, he didn't even profiteer enough, which is, like, kind of disgusting. You've been in Congress for 7 million years, dude. You were literally a senator when Americans had, slaves. Like, when black people were not allowed to vote, you were a senator. You voted to do the 3/5 rule, and you still have not been able to fucking pay for your son's cancer treatment. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's like, it's almost worse. It's almost worse to just, like, be a senator from Delaware and not, like, did he have, like, a major gambling addiction or something? I don't know why. He was just able to scrounge up pennies, dude. Yeah, it's sad how a lot of these motherfuckers are selling out on people, not even for that much money. Yeah. Making bad choices as a father doesn't make you inherently a bad person. What? Don't make fun of cancer patients, chat. What? Hey, we're not making fun of Joe Brandon's son. We're making fun of Joe Brandon for not having enough money while being a fucking corrupt ass, government official for a very long time.
10 months.
Private contractors. In July, this guy's committee voted to increase defense spending by $24 billion, which is more than President Biden even proposed. So in very direct terms, this guy is voting to put more money in his pocket.
That's why Twitter libs are telling you to buy out politicians instead of buying a house, let them out. Yeah, but they're fucking stupid because they don't understand that, like, there is no one person that can individually change the way that the system is designed, because the bourgeois government is designed to fucking churn out these outcomes regardless, okay? It's a never-ending cycle. So one person being like, hey, I'm going to lobby you to do socialism, which I don't even have that kind of money regardless. Wait, I thought we just showed that he's not corrupt. He did it for the love of the game. Yeah, that makes it worse. Bro, just pay Senator to be communist, you silly goose. Yeah, literally. I'm just going to pay Kirsten Sinema to be a communist again.
That is how our system works. Here's another financial disclosure of a senator who's on a committee that deals with cybersecurity and protection. She holds stock in 6 defense companies, with most of her...
Bro, first of all, fire that entire committee, okay? Because our cybersecurity and protection is just dog shit. I cannot think of a worse committee. It's like building an American criminal justice reform committee. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not happening, dude. Or let's give Americans healthcare committee. Okay. Nope.
Her money being invested in an IT contractor. Do you get it? IT contractor that she is invested in. Cybersecurity committee that she uses to vote to give money to the thing she's invested in. It's just like,
bro, by the way, this is unironically, this is one of Johnny Harris's better videos, if not his best. But also, this is precisely why I'm like, you know, let's fucking jail them. Or like, at least let's fight them. You know what I mean? Like, let me punch a senator. Legally, of course. I'm not saying like in a video game, I'm saying like legally, let's change the rules so I can punch a senator. Or if I need to whip them, I use a real whip. Okay? So at least we can make it fun and then we can film it, you know, pay-per-view. That's a self-funding way. I mean, everybody would be watching C-SPAN. Okay? Or they just go to jail, honestly. That's just bad optics if they ain't white. Okay, well, I'm not the only one who beats them, dude. Johnny Harris, when he's talking about America, two-based, not always. Definitely does do a little bit of defense.
like, come on. Oh.
Dude, I love this. Have you seen what Adam something said about your comments about him? You stand by what you said, or do you realize your American outlook? Someone linked this fucking idiot my tweet. I'm just curious, smile. Oh, dude, well, you know, curiosity did kill the cat. I hope you understand that. Perhaps you should be less curious. And also, if you were curious enough, you would have known what my commentary on it is, because I covered it for 3 hours. And also, Adam something, unfortunately, is a little bit too nuanced and too intellectual.
Okay, so that's our list. And let me be clear that this is not the exhaustive list of everyone who got rich. There are so many more people who got rich. There are so many more people who abused the system. We will never know their names. We will never hear about them because they didn't get caught. In the end, the Pentagon spent $14 trillion. $14 trillion. Between 30 and 50% of that went to private companies, military contractors. Companies that give huge payout, huge compensation to the top leaders. That's like $5 trillion worth of taxpayer money going to fatten the pockets of these corporations. And for what? What did we get? We now know that it didn't do much for this country and its people. 20 years later, the country is falling back to where it started. But what it did do is it made these people really, really, really rich. Good for them.
Anyone else hear that, or was that just on my end? Oh, you guys heard it too. What the fuck?
Grab him right by the hussy.
They mentioned it in the chat, in the comments? Is in the video? There's a slight glitch towards the end. Anyways, it's interesting to me as an eye. Okay, yeah, okay, it was the video.
Okay. I'm gonna go try to not be depressed about how our democracy works. See ya.
God damn, dude. Woo, that was scary, dude. That was some scary ass shit. Holy fuck. Okay, that was cool. That was actually a really good video.